After the first a warm welcome to one and all present here today. After the first two wonderful sessions of our Heritage Week series, I, your host Sundari, am proud to announce that the most eagerly awaited Heritage Week celebrations has moved to its vibrant third day. Today, with a beautiful evening setting upon us, we begin with our festivities. Prayers needn't be long and eloquent. They need only to come from a sincere and a humble soul. On that note, I introduce Miss Kirtana to sing the Jain prayer Navakar Mudra for an auspicious beginning.
Namo Ariyantanam, Namo Siddhanam, Namo Ayariyanam, Namo Vachayanam, Namo Loye Savasahonam, Eso Panchanamukaro, Sarva Pavapanasano, Mangalanam Che Sarvesam. Paramam Havai Mangalam, Paramam Havai Mangalam.
Sudevan, Director of COE-Art and Culture, and an inspiration to all of us to welcome our guest and the gathering.
Good day to everybody present here and tuning into our event today. We are successfully into the third day of our Heritage Week celebrations, which is jointly organized by Center of Excellence Art and Culture and the Heritage Club of Sri Shankarlal Sundarbai Shasun Jain College for Women, Chennai. It gives me great pleasure to welcome each one of you to this event, which has been curated to create a sense of awareness and understanding of our heritage and culture among the public, particularly among the youth and our Shashunians. And we are very happy to inform you that we have got a very good response from all those who have tuned in with their feedback and their comments. It has also been an opportunity to clarify many doubts from the resource persons who are all experts in their own fields. Today we have a very interesting topic, and the topic is handlooms. It is being done by a very young and dynamic lady by name, Mrs. Bhavadharini Gautam, who has inspired quite a few youngsters through her Instagram page in turning to handlooms as a way of promotion and preservation of our heritage. So I welcome her. I also welcome Mrs. Padmapriya Bhaskaran, who will be taking the questions fielded by many of our listeners today. At this juncture, I think it is important to acknowledge the kind of support and encouragement that this venture has been given to by our secretary, Sri Abhay Sri Shrimal Jain, our associate secretary, Sri Ashok Kumar Mehta, our principal, Dr. Padmavati, Vice Principal Dr. Rukmini, and so many of our staff and students. I particularly acknowledge the work that has been done by Ms. Srividya, my staff coordinator, and Ms. Shubha Jasmine, who is the Heritage Club coordinator, as also our very enthusiastic interns of Center of Excellence Art and Culture and Heritage Club. And I would like all the viewers to note that this entire event, as also all the events, are being conducted by our students themselves. So do encourage them, and hopefully we'll find more such avenues for them to display their talent. So I welcome our guests today, Mrs. Bhavadharini and Mrs. Padmapriya Bhaskaran, and look forward to a very enlightening session. As you are aware, handlooms was our pride till the colonial powers took it into their hands to take it away from us by the power looms and by the Manchester effect, whereby our goods cotton used to go to Manchester and come back to India, and Indians paying the taxes both ways. So those things have changed, and we look forward to a lot of information on different handlooms, particularly of Tamil Nadu. Thank you so much.
I now request Ms. Deepika to take the stage and introduce our young and dynamic speaker for today, Srimati Bhavadharini Gautam ma'am.
Good day everyone. Bhavadharini Gautam. Bhavadharini Gautam is a social media marketer with specialization in television production. She has a bachelor's degree in electronic media from MOP Vaishnav College and master's degree in visual communication with Loyola College, and has worked with leading brands such as Star Vijay, Sun Network and Social Beat. She has a natural flair for styling right from her childhood and wanted to use the digital space with a purpose. Passionate about handloom, she puts her social media skills to build awareness to handlooms and sustainable fashion through her Instagram handle @Kaituri by BAs. A young mother, she wants to bring her daughter up in a world that shows better responsibility and concern for safeguarding the environment. Thank you.
It is my privilege to invite Srimati Bhavadharini Gautam ma'am to take the spotlight.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Bhavadharini, and I hope all of you are doing safe and sound. It's been quite a year, and I only hope it gets better for all of us. Before we start, I'm going to do a little introduction. I graduated from MOP Vaishnav College. I did electronic media there, and I did my master's in Loyola. I did Viscom, and I moved on to work at one of India's leading TV channels as an assistant producer. And then I moved on to digital marketing and worked as a digital marketing specialist at one of India's leading digital marketing agencies. I think I was always this laid back kid who thought, okay, let's just go with the flow. Right from school, I chose humanities as my, stream. Like, I was petrified of math, and I knew I didn't want to do math ever. And back then, it was not really a group that everybody would opt for. It was either science or commerce. And when my principal told me, she was like, I think Bao would be a good fit there. She's really into social science, and I think she'll do well there. And I was like, okay, why not? Let's do that. And I had subjects like psychology, sociology, and history, and I was really interested in all of them. And I think that's when I started to realize that I'm someone who just does things that really interests me. I can't do things that I'm pushed into or I'm forced to do. And right after that, even my college, I was confused. I didn't know what I was going to do. And that's when electronic media happened. And I spoke to one of my seniors from school, and she spoke to me about EM. And then she told me about, the courses there. And then I was really interested because it was very technical, and it was, you get to learn so much in the subjects that they were offering were, you know, very different. And I was like, okay, I think I'm ready for this. I really want to do electronic media. And I remember I hadn't applied for any other, colleges. And I remember when the principal asked me, she was like, okay, so why do you want to do EM? And I was like, to be very honest, I haven't applied anywhere else. And I think this will really, really, help me in the future. It will definitely be a major part in taking me to the place where I'm supposed to go, and this will help me hone my skills and master in them someday. And I'm sure that electronic media is the course that I want to do. And I hadn't gotten my school results, but I still got into the college, and that was pretty huge for me. And I took the course really seriously after that. And I specialized in television production because it gave me so much joy in seeing your work on screen, like the stuff that you write, your brainchild. It's literally on screen. Every single shot, every single detail is on screen, and you get to see it. And it gave me, I don't know, a sense of passion and pride. And I really wanted to work towards getting better at it. And that's why I wanted to do viscom as my masters. And Loyola College, honestly, I think it was a game changer because the people that I met there were so different, so brilliant, so creative, and just so inspiring. And I remember being so touched and moved and inspired by each and every single project. Even the smallest assignments, people would take so seriously and work so hard. And I thought I should do something different for my final project. And I shot my entire short film in my phone, in my iPhone, and it was actually pretty well appreciated. And I think that was the start of this little journey of mine where I took iPhone photography seriously. And I remember being so scared and so skeptical about it because I was like, what if it's not really my thing? What if this doesn't come out well? What it's my final project. I can't go wrong. It's an iPhone movie. I'm not sure if it will be up to the level of DSLR, and people are doing amazing things. But I think there was this little voice that said, what, just do it. Just do your thing and it's going to be fine. And I think that voice is still inside me, guiding me through every single process. And combining the skills that I had learned at school, college, work helped me create a handle that is a culmination of everything that I've learned so far, and is made with so much love and passion. And that's Get Your. I think this pandemic has had the hugest impact so far because I literally saw people who were thriving to just like no jobs. And uh, I still remember, like, we received a lot of parcels, and I was just like, Amma, why are you getting so many couriers? I mean, what are you doing? We're in the middle of a pandemic, and I don't understand how you're actually receiving so many parcels. And she was like, Baba, this is actually from the weavers. Like, I purchased a lot of things from weavers because this is literally their livelihood, and I'm actually, like, helping them during this time. And I always remember my mom. I used to shop online. You know how it is during college. You just need to like get whatever's trendy and whatever you like and all of that. And I remember my mom used to get a lot of like handloom sarees, and she was really into handloom, but I never really paid any attention because I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. But then when she told me this, I was like, what do you mean you're getting it directly from the weavers? And then she was like, they're actually the second largest working population after farmers, and they're literally their entire life depends on this, and it's been a pretty bad hit. And I'm actually purchasing from them. They're on digital media now, and I'm just trying to do my part in helping them. And I was like, okay, just open few saris, let's see. It's pretty cool, ma, what you're doing. And so she opened, and you've seen Chandramukhi, right? I'm sure most of you have. There's the scene where Jyotika is just like excited, and her eyes light up, and it's like that. My mom is literally like that. She was like all lit. She was like, look at this sari, look at this weave, look at this print, look at these beautiful design and patterns and this embroidery. And I'm like, wow. So yes, I think that's how my handloom journey started, because of my amazing mother. I was truly inspired at that moment, like when she explained the situation during the pandemic, and you know the work. Like, there's so much work into each and every single weave, and I was like, I mean, Amma, they deserve so much more. They deserve so much recognition, so much success, so much in life. And she was like, exactly. And I'm just trying to do my part in just making their lives a little better. And I was like, I want to be a part of this too. Like, what do I do? And she's like, I mean, you can buy saris, but there should be something that helps them a little more. And I was like, okay, you know what, she actually writes about handloom in her Facebook and Instagram profile. So I was like, you know what, you have an amazing collection. I'll help you style these saris. I'll click pictures of you. You just, post and write about it. Let's just continue doing that. And then she's like, don't you want to do something? Like, I thought you were like really into this. I said, Amma, I am into this, but I don't know if I can carry it off like you. Like, you are, you just know what you're doing. And she's like, okay, let's just do that. And then the original plan was my mother doing this, but I've always liked saris. Like, I like ethnic clothes a lot. Like, I really enjoy wearing ethnic dresses and saris, and a lot more like that. So there was this one day, I think it was exactly on Gandhi Jayanti, and she took this beautiful sari that she purchased from Gandhi Gram from Dindigul. And she was like, you know what, why don't you wear this for Gandhi Jayanti? I was like, okay, I mean, okay, let's do that. I just like dressing up, so I was like, okay. And then I wore that, and like, I'm not exaggerating, but it's just like, it can't be described in words, because the material, the work, the comfort of it, like, you're wearing a handloom sari, handmade, with so many weavers working on those weaves, and I was like, Mama, this feels so light and it draped so beautifully. I was, after baby, you know how your body is. It's not your normal body. You're just completely different. And I think I just felt so confident, so good after so long. And I was like, Mama, I'm actually like in love with this sari. I mean, the feeling of wearing a handloom sari is just, I can't describe this in words. And she's like, I told you. And then I was like, you think? I think I'm just gonna like start this now. I think I'm just gonna wear your collection, like saris from your collection. I'm just gonna style and just do my thing. It was just like I was just like trying to joke, and I took some pictures on that day. Like it was just like I'd given my mobile to my mother, and I was like, "Amma, stand here, keep this." It was all like on selfie mode, like it was the portrait mode, and. I saw the pictures and I was actually so impressed with the whole, the whole look and feel of it. I was like, I think this is beautiful, and I immediately uploaded it on my personal handle, and I was just so happy. Like it was not something that I usually do. Usually I just like take pictures and I just post it on my handle, and it's just a new usual stuff. But this, I took pictures of the sari, the little details, and it just made me, I don't know, it just gave me so much happiness in doing that. And I was like, Amma, I think I'm serious about it, and I think I'm just gonna do it, and I'm gonna do my part in helping the weavers and the weaver community in our country. And she's like, I think you're on the right track, and I think you should do it. And I was like, okay. And then I'm not joking, I literally designed the logo of my page and the grid, like the first three creatives, within 20 minutes. And I was like, I think this is what my page is going to be. This is the logo. This is the first creative that's going to go live. This is the second one. This is the third one. And then I'm going to do the Gandhigram. Like I had no plan. I didn't have like, a backup of pictures that I was going to post. Nothing. And then I texted my best friends and listen, I think I'm going to do this. And they were like, that's amazing, and I think you'll do an amazing job, because they've been asking me to like have a different handle for just like the pictures that I take on my phone. They're like, I think it's very, very nice, and this is something that you really enjoy, Baba, so I think you should definitely start. And I was like, okay, let's see. And then this happened, and they were like, okay, I think this is it, I think you should go for it. And the page was like, I just created a new handle, and I just followed my friends, and they were like, Baba, like this is like you're literally doing this. And then I told my mother, I was like, come on, I'm gonna do this. I don't know how it's gonna turn out, but this really makes me happy, and I'm doing something to help somebody, to bring, to shed some light on something that really needs everybody's attention and focus. And I'm just gonna do it. And then she was like, go for it. And then she posted it on her profile, and I started noticing a lot of her lovely friends following me, and encouraging me in such a beautiful way. Like there was this time that I'd posted something, and this person DM'd me on my profile, and then she said, you know what, there's so much more to this. And then she literally sent me pictures of that particular weave, and I was like, I think this is my thing. I think I'm learning so much every day. I'm doing, something that makes me happy, and I have people that read, and I think learn something each day through this post. So I think I'm just going to take it up, and I'm going to do it very seriously. And that's how Kaitya was born. Kaitya was, came into existence within 10 minutes, and now has a huge part and role in my life. And I don't know how I've been doing this because I have a little baby, but I just somehow have the time and the energy to do this, even though I'm like running behind her, and I cannot not thank my parents and my family because they've been so supportive. It obviously wouldn't have been possible without them, because when I'm shooting and my baby's like screaming and she's playing, and you know and my family has been helping, taking they've been taking care of her, and they've given me the space to do my thing, to follow my passion, and I'm just so grateful for that. And it's time for me to show you guys what I'm so passionate about, and I really hope it, adds some value in your day. I hope you learn something through this today, and find something that really, really, really fuels your passion, your happiness, and just lets you be. So I think here it goes. I'm very, very, very excited to introduce you guys to Ketyor. So Ketyor is actually Kaitari plus couture, which was termed by my best friend. And I think when we were brainstorming, couture popped up, and I think it just struck a chord. And I was like, I think we're gonna go with couture. And they were all like, okay, couture it is. And I love how it matches with what the handle stands for, which is Kaitari, which means handloom in Tamil. And I'm gonna take you through what I've done so far and talk about the different weaves that I've posted on the handle till date. So yes. Okay, this is a very special sari because this literally kickstarted Couture, and it's from Gandhigram. So Gandhigram is in Dindigul, and they produce a beautiful variety of khadi saris. And the one that I'm wearing in this picture is a mubagam. Mubagam means the sari is divided into three parts. So this sari is in three different colors. I'm going to show you the pictures so you get a better idea. Yes, so Couture, like I told you, focuses on the details of each and every saree. It's honestly not about me. It's here to celebrate each thread, each little detail of each weave. I think if you see a few pictures, you'll understand what the whole look and feel of the handle is all about. So yes, this is the final look of the sari that I purchased from Gandhigram, and I think you should definitely check them out because they have a beautiful variety, and it's a very, very beautiful handle altogether. So I think you should definitely check them out. And on Ketyo, I make sure I tag the weavers or the people who are associated with them, to make sure that they get the limelight that they truly deserve. And I thought I'll speak a little bit about weaves of Tamil Nadu. So I'm gonna open this. This sari that I'm wearing here is actually called Kovai Kora cotton, which is made in the Kunga region of Tamil Nadu. Kunga region, the areas in and around Coimbatore. So this sari is actually a blend of silk and cotton. I mean, look at this is the full look of the sari. So this is absolutely light and it drapes really beautifully. So if you're someone that actually doesn't prefer heavy silk, but would like something similar of a silk sari, Kora cotton is your go-to sari. The zari is so beautiful. Like when I went and spoke to my grandmother, and I told her, listen, I really want to rate your wardrobe and see what you have. And this sari was just, I saw that and I'm like, Mama, I want to see that. And then she took it out and she told me, hey, this is actually from Coimbatore. This is Kora cotton. And then I saw that, and it's so simple yet so gorgeous. I mean, look at that. So sorry. I mean, I can't contain my excitement when I talk about handloom. So please excuse the excitement. Yes, the colors, it's perfect. It's stunning when there are saris that you see and then it looks different when you drape them. This is one of them. Absolutely beautiful. And this one is again an amazing sari. So when we talk about pattu, right? Pattu saris, the first thing that strikes us is Kanchipuram. The first place, Kanchipuram. Pattana, Kanchipuram. But did you know that there are actually so many different kinds of pattas in Tamil Nadu? There's Arani pattu and there's Thirubuvanam pattu, which is near Kumbakonam. Thirubuvanam is a place near Kumbakonam, which is really famous for its silk saris. There's Mochakodam pattu. There are so many different pattus that's famous in Tamil Nadu, and this is from Thirubuvanam. And there's something very interesting about this sari, which, so you see the border, right? This is called Mailkan border. Mailkan, which means eye of a peacock, Mailkan. And this border resembles a Mailkan. So it's called the Mailkan border. And this does not come with a blouse piece. And this was actually purchased directly from a weaver in Tirupovanam. Gifted this to my grandmother for my wedding, so it's really, really special. And I'm going to go on to this one. So, this is special because one, it's rehomed. Rehomed is something that I learned this year, a beautiful word, which means this sari is actually owned by someone else, and they thought that this deserves a special new place, and this was thrifted. And it's so special because there's this page that has a whole range of beautiful vintage saris that one person so lovingly gives to another. And I got this from a very, very kind person, my mother in fact. And this is a pure tussar silk with kanta stitch work. So I mean, look at that, it's all stitched, hand stitched. And I'm new to sustainable fashion. Like I said, I'm new to handloom and sustainable fashion, but this is something that I'm so impressed, and I really dedicatedly want to follow, because it's life changing. It's doing something to the environment, to the society, that actually matters. And to see so many women and young women and women of all ages come together to do something for the society, to make sure there's a conscious decision about clothing. And this is a game changer, I'm telling you. And this is now part of my beautiful home from another beautiful home, and I'm so glad they decided to give this to me. And yes, this was my first rehomed sari that went upon Kityor. And let's talk about other saris. So this, I'm just giving you an overview of the feed. I think we should talk about Sungadi. Okay, this is a Madurai Sungadi cotton sari that again I purchased from a weaver in Madurai. This is made, I'm sure you guys know about tie and dye. Like the sari that I'm wearing right now is an Algeria Bandani sari. This sari is again a version that was adapted by Saurashtrians who settled down in South India, and they started this in Madurai, and it's been thriving ever since. Look at the sari. I mean, I have no words. It just speaks for itself. It's beautiful. So Madurai is actually very, very famous for its Sungadi saris. And Sunga actually refers to knot. The knot is called as Sunga. So this was named after the tie and dye process. And I haven't really posted a Madurai Kattam Sungadi, and I think that will be up on my handle very, very soon. Okay. before we talk about other weaves of Tamil Nadu, I actually love how Ketya has given me the opportunity to speak about things that truly matter to me and I think deserves a lot of attention. This sari is from a person, a weaver family from Assam. If you see this, you'll see rhinos and swamp deers and birds. This was actually created and woven by uh, this weaver in Assam to throw some light on endangered species in Assam. I mean, how awesome is that? Like when my mother showed me the sari, I was like, Mama, I'm just gonna like I have no words to explain these saris because I mean the artists they truly know what they're doing, and this comes with so much responsibility and so much, you know, a feeling of just doing something for things that truly matter to them. And if that's not art, I honestly don't know what is. So, this again is a look that I curated to throw some light on this beautiful, beautiful weave and these animals. I mean, it's one of my favorite looks on the profile. Again, this is a very very sari that's very close to my heart. This was made by the weavers in Ranthambore. There's an organization called Dastakar, and Dastakar Ranthambore is an organization that actually made the sari. And the prints that you see, the tigers that you see on the sari, right? These are actually uh, painted by children. Like this, they've taken inspiration from the paintings that were made by children and created the sari to shed some light on the reserve, the tiger reserve that's in Ranthambore. Beautiful, right? Like it just excites me so much to even talk about it. Yes, this is Kodali Karpur. This is a revived sari, which revived meaning this went into, this was this disappeared in the past and was revived very recently and is now in full swing. Like Kodali Karpur is just so adored by so many handloom enthusiasts that now people are they're it's made to order. This sari was actually made to order. My mom had actually contacted a weaver and I've tagged them on this handle. So if you go, okay, yes, it's from Yatri Weaves. She's a very lovely person who so sweetly made this sari for us. Again, the details. So the thing about Ketyor, one more thing is I make sure that I write about the sari, the details that people, really need to know, and the recognition that the sari truly deserves. I make sure that it's there on Ketyor. Again, you see how loose my blouse is? I honestly this is not about me. I'm trying to normalize everything possible with saris and sari wearing. And most of the times I pair my saris with my tops, my kurtis, the crop tops that I have. You can just do your own thing. Like this is your look, the look that you've created. You own your look. So just do whatever it is. There's no right or wrong to fashion. That's what I truly believe in. And I honestly don't judge any looks at all. It's their idea, their creativity. And I think that's what really matters. Okay, this is something that I find very, very interesting because this was a top that my mom had ordered for my brother for Diwali. And when I saw this, I was like, I asked him if I can use this for Ketyor because I'm always learning something new on the internet. And there was this technique that I'd learned with shirts, and I wanted to try this out. So this and actually like just took the extra. This was very loose for me, so I just took the extra cloth and I tied a rubber band underneath and I just let it be, and it looked like this. I was actually pretty amused by the whole look, and yes, look at this. I'm a very, so this is basically my style. This is how I've always styled myself. Like I'm a very bangles and big jumki kind of person. Like you can see it here, and this is how the whole look turned out. So yes, I mean there's no limits. Like you can just do so many things with clothes. Yes, I'm going to talk about a very very special sari again. So this sari is my mother's dream sari, a sari about the city that's very, very, very close to our hearts, Madras. This sari was designed by my mother along with a person called Varsha that I've tagged again on my profile. Varsha, she owns this brand called Dastkar LLP. This is hers. So this is hand painted. And this was shot in the Madras Literary Society. I think if you see this, the one movie that strikes you is Maunaragam. This is the Maunaragam library. This was actually shot, I think, 2 weeks back, and we'd taken prior permission to go shoot because there are a lot of restrictions now because of the pandemic. And yes, this has all the iconic buildings of Madras, Balwarkotam Central Station, the LIC building. This is the Santom Church. And yes, I think I'm just gonna let the sari, speak for itself. And this has different, the name Madras in different languages. I think you should definitely check it out when you have the time to see my handle. Yes. This is from Pashut. I'm sure a lot of you know about Pashut. It's a pretty big brand, and they make really, really beautiful Kanchipuram pattu in pastel shades. I mean, it's very new now, but I think Pashut kind of started this whole thing, and this was again purchased for my wedding. This is my mother's sari, and yes, I usually shoot. So, to talk about how I shoot my pictures, it's usually, it's just me. I have a tripod and I have my phone and I take it on burst mode. So, it takes 10 pictures and I choose one out of that. And it's inside my house most of the times. And I have a screen, and it's very simple. It's just, it takes quite some time because I usually take different pictures and I make sure I get all the little details that I want to be highlighted in the pictures. And again, this was inside my house with just the normal tube lights. Yeah, that's about it. It's a very simple handle. Okay, this is an amazing sari because it's actually a very, old sari, which is again a revived sari called the Devendra sari, which is also known as the Kodambakam bumper saris. This was used in the Tambram households back then as, the Madisar. This comes with a Rudraksha border. I'm sure. I mean, the color is so beautiful, and I actually paired it with a kalamkari blouse, a red kalamkari blouse, and this was actually a hair accessory that I had purchased for my farewell. So I mean, it just went very well. The whole look in my head looked, okay, and it actually came out pretty well. And I was very happy when I saw the pictures also. So yes, this again is one of my favorites, and Okay, Pavada Satta. I'd literally purchased this, I think, close to 15 years back when I was a really little girl. And I mean, I was shocked to know that it, one, still fits, two, it's the same. I mean, it hasn't shrunk, it hasn't, the color's the same. And I mean, sustainable, right? Like, I love investing in sustainable clothing, but I'm so glad this actually, it stayed the same throughout the years. It's, I mean, I even, thought, okay, if I wash it once, twice, it's gonna go, it's gonna fade, but it's the same. And I got this from one of my favorite stores in Chennai, which is Sundari Silks. And I think I'm just gonna save it till my daughter grows a little old and is able to fit into this. So, yes, I guess that's about it. Thank you so much for being such an amazing set of audience. I hope this session made some sense to you guys and you were able to learn something through this handle. It would really mean a lot to me if you guys let me know what you think about the handle, if there are any suggestions, any feedback, any questions. Please feel free to message me on Instagram. I'll be really excited to hear from you guys, and let's make sure that we're conscious about our choices and you know care about our Indian handloom and our viewers. I think it'll really make a lot of difference, and together, our generation, I think we'll move mountains if we just work together. And on that note, I'm going to say bye bye. Stay safe, be happy, just do you, just be yourself. Good luck and all the very best. And yes, that's about it, I guess. Bye bye. Take care.
That was really interesting and amazing, ma'am. Now, moving on for the interactive session, I would like to invite Srimati Padmapriya Bhaskaran, ma'am, to enlighten us with her informative address.
Uh, Thank you so much. And my name is Padmapriya. I will be your speaker for tomorrow. But more importantly, today I'm representing my daughter, Bhavadharini, here because Baba, as she had mentioned in the talk itself, she stays in Coimbatore and she has a 8-month-old baby. So since this is the time that the baby eats and goes to sleep, she had chosen to do a recording instead of presenting the session live. And thanks to Rajshri ma'am for accepting to have a recording. Baba, however, is happy to answer all your queries on the KTO handle after the session in case you have any further feedback or follow-up questions. But at the moment, whatever questions have come as part of this session, I thought it'll make sense for me to take those questions on behalf of Bhavadharini. So, Sundari, if you can let me know the questions, I'll try and see if I'm able to answer them.
Sure. Why is the handloom weaving confined to few families?
Sorry, handloom being?
Handloom weaving confined to few families.
Okay, so handlooms, just like agriculture, has been more of a traditional industry. We have, apart from the power loom sector, which came into India around the 1980s, where employment was provided by the large factories to anyone who was willing to take up a job. Handloom industry has often been a traditional industry where the family members have been practicing it, and then they pass on the trade and the techniques and the skill to other members of their own families. And because it has not been a thriving industry, clearly after the 80s, when the polyester yarn was kind of created, what happened was traditionally the saris, bed sheets, those kind of things, dhotis, were all woven in the handloom sector. It was only the Western clothing that was done in the powerloom sector. So shirts, trousers, material for suiting, All that was done in the powerloom sector. But then somewhere along the line, after the polyester yarn was introduced, quickly, very cheap substitutes of everything that was being produced in handloom started coming out. So a cotton sari, if you take a powerloom sari, can even be made in 150 to 200 rupees. Whereas, you cannot get a handloom sari for less than 600 to 700 rupees. So people, when it is given, when they don't have the information to make an informed decision, they prefer to choose something that is less expensive. That is why they started moving to power looms. That is why today you find people thronging the Saravana stores and the Pothis, and very few people would actually be approaching weavers or weaving collaborators or cooperatives to actually purchase their clothing. And that is the reason why it has been predominantly a family practiced business.
Thank you, ma'am. And
Hello.
what is the difference between fabric used in Kanchipuram and Banaras sarees?
The silk, see, there are different types of silk. So one is the mulberry silk, which is obtained from the mulberry silkworms. And then, there is eri silk, which is the ahimsa silk, where, the silkworms are not killed in extracting that silk. And then there is, of course, the gicha fabric, gicha silk, which is the silk that is left over after the main threads have been removed for making the saris. But beyond that, it's only the difference in the type of weaving. The way that the Kanchipuram saris are weaved is that they use a korvai technique, wherein the body of the sari is weaved separately, and then the borders and the pallu is woven separately and then attached using a three shuttle technique. So there are actually two people, usually the husband and the wife, or there are two people, father and son, who are weaving at the same time to attach the border and the pallu to the sari. Whereas in Banaras, it is also mulberry silk. Of course, in Banaras, now you have Banaras silk cotton, Banaras cotton. The way they make the motifs is very different. The kadua technique of, the motifs look like the embossed motifs in the body of the sari, and then you have the motifs that are used in the pallu. They are very different from what you would be using in the Kanchipuram sari. So Kanchipuram has more traditional motifs. You'll have the temple borders because Kanchipuram is a city of temples. You would have the Tarambu rek, which is, the pine screw flower, Tarambu flower. Then you have the Puliyar mug. Usually, if there is a ceremony, you will make a Puliyar made out of turmeric, worship him, and only then start the ceremony. So they have that Puliyar mug, which is the turmeric Puliyar, which is represented in the motif. So Malli mug. Then they have Malai Tuli, which is a raindrop. Then they have the Kattam. Then they have the Mail Chakram. So they have there is a peacock and then there is a wheel adjacent to each other. All these are the Kanchipuram motifs. Then there in Banarasi sarees, you would have the kadwa buttis, you would have the paisleys and the big paisleys in the border. You have the shikargar, just like how you have the Vanasingaram here in Kanchipuram, which shows all the animals that are available in the southern part of India that is depicted in the Kanchipuram sarees. You have the shikargar in Banaras, which shows all the animals that are predominant in the northern part of India. So the fabric is the same, the silk is the same, but the techniques that are used in creating the saris and the look and feel of the sari, the Banarasi saris are heavier. They come with a lot of, the zari is more prominent and more bright because the North Indians like to have their saris, brighter colors, brighter designs. Whereas, the Kanchipuram saris come in all kinds of, there are plain saris, there are saris with thread work. Same in Banaras, they call it the resham work. And then there are also saris which come with gold and silver zari as well. So the silk is pretty much the same. The technique is different.
How do the weavers face the challenges of natural disasters like floods or even the COVID pandemic?
Yeah, I think that's a
Should I
very,
repeat,
very
ma'am?
important question. One thing we have to understand is the weavers are almost totally dependent on the supply chain, so to speak. in selling their goods. So what they do is there are a lot of agents, there are these boutiques, there are these fabric, the cloth shops like your Kumaran Silks and Nallis and Pothis and all these people who would approach these weavers and purchase their clothes and then sell them in the market. So the cost that they would pay to the weaver would probably be, I would say, at least 30% less than what it is being sold in the market. 30% is a more conservative estimate. It could even be 50%, because if you take artisans like Patachitra artists or Kalamkari artists, they get paid something like 5,000 rupees, 4,000 rupees to 5,000 rupees for hand painting an entire sari. Whereas if you were to buy it in a shop or in a boutique, the sari would cost something like 18 to 20,000 rupees. So that is the kind of profit margins that they have while selling these saris or stoles or scarves. I'm using the general term saris, but then one thing we have to understand here is the handloom industry does not only make saris. They make saris, they make stoles, they make scarves, they make dupattas, they make men clothing, they make fabric, then they make bags, they make fabric jewelry. There's so many things that a young person can purchase or pick up from the handloom industry. So in the time of a natural disaster, let us take the example of COVID, which was a pandemic situation. So here what happened was that usually the weavers, they get loans to produce the saris or the fabric that they're producing. So they have these weavers cooperatives which provide them with loans to create these materials. Unless the stocks are sold by them, they are not able to. These are working capital loans, so they have to pay back one batch and only then the next batch of loans are released. So what happened during the pandemic is, because the courier industry totally stopped, the shops were all shut down, people did not have the money to continue to do purchases. So what happened is that all the stocks got stagnated with the weavers, and it was impossible for them to kind of do any work, because one, their houses are all very small. The weavers are clearly in the lower strata of society, where they live in very small rural houses which do not have the kind of space to stock the valuable materials that they have produced, be it saris or be it fabrics or anything. The second thing is, if their stocks do not move and they get stagnated, their working capital is totally locked. They are unable to produce more fabric, nor can they get money for whatever they have produced, which puts them in a very, very difficult situation, where they are not even able to make their ends meet or have 3 square meals a day. In fact, some of you might have even seen in the newspapers or in the TV channels about weavers who are burning their looms and burning their stock during the COVID, purely because they did not have the bandwidth and the wherewithal to continue to hold the stocks. The good thing that happened during the pandemic was, now, because the weavers have family members like children, or there's one educated person in the family who can create a social media account. These days it's very simple to start a Facebook group, Facebook page, or an Instagram page on social media, or WhatsApp. They can send the photographs and then directly contact the clients. So what they did is, they came directly to the market, because the supply chain had totally collapsed. And when they came into the market, they started contacting people whom they know have purchased from them in the past, or people, they generally put out Facebook pages, and people who are really interested in helping these weavers, they directly contacted them, or the NGOs that are working with them, or the weavers cooperatives or collectives that were struggling to somehow help these weavers to stay afloat during the pandemic. And as Baba was describing in the talk, that is how I ended up purchasing something like 100 to 150 saris during the period March to September 2020, because I thought that is the only way that we will be able to help the weavers. In fact, it was very pathetic to see weavers in West Bengal and Assam who had already been affected by the previous flood that had just happened in January and February. So they had not even got over that flood when the lockdown from the pandemic happened. So they were even willing to just send the saris and say, you pay us in 3 installments or 4 installments, or pay us even after a month, no problem. But as long as you commit to take these saris, we are happy that somehow, we are clearing the stocks and they are not getting ruined in our houses, because we hardly have any storage space or storage facility.
Yes, ma'am. What is the difference between olden days and the present day handloom sari? Has there been a significant change in the duration of making?
Um, yes and no, I would say, because clearly now the good thing that has happened is now organizations like Co-optex and APCO, I mean the cooperative societies of the government, they are helping the weavers in a large way. In the past, the weavers were mostly restricted to a smaller geographical area. So whatever they made, they sold within, like for example, if Kanchipuram saris were made in Kanchipuram, maximum they would be sold within Tamil Nadu, or maybe they would be sold within the Madras presidency. Whereas now, the markets have all widened globally, and they are able to sell their products across the globe, which means that, they are able to produce more and then earn more. Second, the techniques have also been improved. You might have heard of the Chinalambati Sari. So the Chinalambati Sari was an art silk sari which was being produced in Chinalambati in Dindigul district. Now, at some point, all the Chinalambati weavers stopped producing that sari kind of went out of business. So Chinalambati, in those days, people used to wear either pattu or Chinalampattu or Devendra sari at home because of muddy. So they had to wear something silk so that even if the children or somebody touched them, it was still considered to be pure. So Chinalampatti was popular among, my grandmother and aunt's times and all that. And suddenly the whole industry stopped, and the Chinalampatti weavers all became migrant agriculture. They became, like temporary agricultural laborers, or they went to work in factories, or they became tourist guides and all that thing. So then Co-optex has kind of stepped in, and they have revived the Chinalampatti weaving trade. But now they make silk cotton, which is inspired by the Puttapaka ikat. So they have brought weavers from Puttapaka, which is in Andhra Pradesh, and they have trained the Chinalampatti weavers to make ikat saris in silk cotton with the same designs that are being followed in Puttapaka. So now we have the Chinalampatti saris, which are all tie and dye saris of a completely different variety from what was being produced as art silk in the past. So these kind of technical collaborations and trainings and exposure visits, cross learning of weaves from one area to another area, all this has kind of hastened up the process and hastened up the manner in which the cloth is produced. But then if you look at the time taken to produce these saris, I would still say it is more or less the same, because traditionally the way it needs to be done, that is how it is still done. But clearly there is a lot of technical assistance and support that is available from the government agencies.
What is the difference between handicraft and handloom sari, ma'am?
Handicraft and handloom.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
a handicraft is something that is made by hand. So, if you could call like doll making, or puppet making, or making of these handcrafted items, like if you could make paper mache toys and all that, those are all handicrafts. And then the handloom industry is the weaving that is done through the looms. And you also have the embroidery industry, which more or less I think is what you have in mind when you talk about the handicraft. So there are a variety of hand embroideries that are there right from Kashmir. If you take the Kashidakari embroidery in Kashmir, and the Kanda that is there in West Bengal, then you have the Gujarati Sindhi stitch in Gujarat. You have the Fulkari embroidery from Punjab. You have the chikankari in Lucknow and UP. You have the Kasuti embroidery in Karnataka. So all these things you have, and then you have the hand painting, you have the mural paintings that are there in the Kerala Kasavu saris. You have the Chirayal paintings that are there in Andhra Pradesh. You have the Patachitra that is there in Orissa. And you have all these tribals, the Gonds, who do the tribal painting. You have the Madhubani, which is there again from Mithila in UP. So all these are all crafts that are, it's basically wearable art. So that can be described as handcrafted saris.
Thank you, ma'am. What was the speciality and the emotion behind the Muhurta saris that were hand woven back then?
Okay. Very good question. I really appreciate all the great questions that have come up, and because it really shows the kind of interest and the referencing that the participants have done before asking these questions. So basically, there was I'll speak about Tamil Nadu. So in Tamil Nadu, everyone knows there is something called a Kurai Podavai, which is worn at the time of the wedding. So the Kura Podavai can be a silk Kura Podavai, or it can be a cotton Kura Podavai. So usually the Brahmins wear the Madisar, because that is the time the 9 yards are given to the Brahmin bride, and that is a silk Kura Podavai often. And then everyone else, they wear a cotton Kura Podavai, which is a checked sari. And then this check is called a Muttukattam. So if you look at the checks, they would be very even, and then the checks would be what they depict is the horizontal lines and the vertical lines meeting at exact equal intervals. So they are supposed to depict the bride and the groom, and then it also depicts harmony. So wherever the joints meet, it depicts harmony, and this harmony can only happen if both of them are thinking in the same wavelength, and if they are kind of going forward to meet each other's views. That is what the whole checks in the Muhurtam sari that depicts. So Kurenadu was again a place near Nagapatnam which was making all these Kura Podavais. And Kurenadu, again, just like Chinalambati, completely went out of weaving at one point in time. And so these Kura Podavais started getting woven in power loom, they started getting woven in Kanchipuram, and everywhere else. So basically, people said, okay, for a wedding, we need a Kura Podavai, so let us just get it done somewhere else. So a lot of power loom saris at 200 rupees, 300 rupees, because one good thing about Tamil Nadu weddings is that the Kura Podavai is always priced very, very low, because it's something that everybody, even if someone does not have money to buy gold for the daughter's wedding, they should still be able to give the wedding sari. That is the concept for the Kura Podavai. So the prices are very low, and when they became power loom, it became lower as well. But now Cooptex has completely revived Kurenadu, the textile cluster, and now we have Kurenadu saris available in Cooptex, both in cotton as well as in silk cotton. And then they all come with that Muttukattam checks, so which shows the harmony between the bride and the groom when they when they live together. The colors again are very significant in Muhurtam saris. Auspicious colors like yellow, maroon, which is the haldi kungum color, is what they say. So the manjal kungumam is supposed to be considered auspicious, and those are the colors that are predominantly used to make the Kura Podavais. Of course, nowadays people choose to have Kura Podavais in orange or green. Green again, of course, because of prosperity, green is also sometimes allowed as a Kura Podavai, but mostly it is yellow or red. Predominantly red, and then yellow as well.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It was really very enlightening and informative. Before we wrap up, I'd like to thank the audience for being as vibrant as ever, and of course, Srimati Bhavadharini Gautam and Srimati Padmapriya Bhaskaran for coming and making our day more brighter. On that note, I invite Shubha Jasmine ma'am to deliver the vote of thanks.
Before Mrs. Shubha Jasmine gives the vote of thanks, I really want to express my personal thanks to Mrs. Padmapriya and Mrs. Bhavadharini. And in commemoration of the handloom talk, I'm also here displaying my Shungudi Kattampota sari, cotton sari, which is close to 30 years old, but a gift my Guru Dr. Padma Subramaniam, which I treasure very much. And I use this occasion to showcase that as well on the session. So now, Mrs. Shubha Jasmine, over to you with your vote of thanks.
Good evening, all. Uh,
I take this opportunity to propose the vote of thanks. Thank you, Ms. Bhavadharini Gautam, for giving us an insight on your journey with Kaitari that actually resulted in Kaitior. Uh, I also make use of this forum to thank Ms. Padmapriya Bhaskaran for patiently answering all our questions. And ma'am, you really gave us a lot of insights on the current handloom industry, like the tradition that is there and the collaboration, which these industries actually they make. So it is very informative for us, and it was also new for us to know these collaboration that's actually taking place over the handloom industries. On behalf of our management, Principal Ma'am, Vice Principal Madam, Center of Excellence Art and Culture and Heritage Club, I once again thank both the speakers of the day today, Mrs. Bhavadharini Gautam and Ms. Padma Priya Bhaskaran. My heartfelt gratitude to the young, enthusiastic interns of Center of Excellence, Art and Culture and Heritage Club. Thank you for your phenomenal support, girls, because without your support, we wouldn't have made to this journey of our third day. So our third day has been successfully completed. It's because of your efforts and dedication. Thank you all. Sundari, over to you.
Thank you, ma'am. Finally, I would request all our viewers to fill back the feedback link sent in the chat box. And that's a wrap, guys. Thank you for joining us. Good night. Stay safe.